Ladies and gentlemen, this is Coda Jacobs, the crusader and visionary behind a brighter future in wrestling. If you're an honorable and noble public servant like myself, you are listening to the Game Changer Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Nate the Great!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another special edition of the Game Changer Podcast. It's me, your paladin of positivity, NateFNGreat, and your reigning, defending, undisputed Screw City champion on the wrestling show, Nate the Effin' Great. Boys and girls, does it feel amazing to be a champion? And I did it all by myself. If you want to check out how I did it, go check out the wrestling show and you're definitely going to find out. But we're not here to talk about me and my accomplishments. We're here to talk about not one, not two, but three fabulous ladies. I feel like I need to start the show off with the EC3 theme song, Trouble, 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 because that's what I think I'm in for with this show. But let's get into the introductions. Ladies and gentlemen, joining me here first is a woman that I have known for about 6 years now. Got the chance to work with her live and in person as well as on the show. She is a fabulous diva in her own right. The fashionista of fashion. The glamorous glam. Sorry, Beth Phoenix, but I think Glamazon is going to be taken by this woman right here. She is the one, the only, one of the knockouts herself. That is Miss SoCal Val. Val, great to have you on the show.
Woo woo! I live for these intros. You do such a fantastic job. You make me feel fabulous. Thank you for that. Like you said, it's been a long time. We have had so much fun. Just you and I on the podcast. We've integrated some guests, and I think we're really upping the ante with this one. It's triple trouble. Hope you're ready, listeners. Hope you're ready.
Lord help me if I am ready. Ladies and gentlemen, next guest up here is a woman who I've said on record that even though she is about twice the age as me, she is still way out of my league. She is a fantastic athlete. She's a wonderful woman, and probably the one person that you can feel like I'm having trouble with technology here. Is there anybody that I can look at to see that who probably has more issues than me? She's probably the one that you're probably going to be looking at right now. She's the one, the only, the very fabulous Marie Varon. Lisa, how's it going?
I wasn't sure who you were introducing, and I'm like, okay, double the age. Okay, that was a dead giveaway. I got that. Yeah, technology is just not my friend. I'll be honest with you. I feel like every time I'm like using the computer and all that stuff, I feel like my mom and dad trying to go, and how do you do this VCR? What is this remote control thing? Yeah. This is when I age myself. I'm like, I'm not a techie. I thought I was, but thank you so much for having us again. We really appreciate this, and we're excited. Duel. So we all, Val, on your talking, you already did the Jersey accent already. So I felt like I had to do it, Duel.
That's how we do it. So look, Nate the Great up in the house, Jewel. We get into this weird accent, and I love that we started the show with Nate going, I have to start the recording, but I can't stop laughing. We know it's going to be a great show from there on out, You know, Jewel?
Yeah, buckle your seatbelts, Jewel.
Oh, yeah.
Well, ladies, I gotta tell you, got a third one. I don't know why I'm going into a Woody Allen accent, but it is what it is. But ladies and gentlemen, we do have a third active participant that's involved with this, and since it's going to be her first time on the show, there's only one way to introduce her, and that's by listing off this. In 2010, she was the Baltimore Sun Woman of the Year. In 2019, she received the Jim Thorpe Sports Award for the Native American Music Awards. In wrestling, she is a five-time WWE Women's Champion, a 3-time Knockouts Champion, a 1-time Divas Champion. Pro Wrestling Illustrated voted her as the Woman of the Year in 2009 and 2011. quite the accomplishment. And she was ranked number 1 out of 50 women in 2009. She is an awesome mom. She's an awesome wife. She is the executive vice president of talent relations in the interim. Wait a minute. That is the wrong note. John,
did you just do Johnny Ace?
He slides into my DMs almost every day. It's like, Johnny Ace, leave me alone. Jeez. No, she is the executive producer for NWA, and especially one of the patriarchs for an upcoming show known NWA Empower. She is the one, the only hardcore country Mickie James.
Okay.
Thank you so much for that. I didn't even know all of those things, Nate. Thank you. Thank you.
We did warn you. I was like, there's a spectacular intro coming. This is a Nate the Great signature coming up.
And Mickie, that was such a great intro for you. I was like, holy crap, I didn't know all that stuff either.
What is this Baltimore Sun? What now?
I don't know. Thank you, Baltimore.
Nate's over here making shit up. I'm just kidding.
If it was made up, it was on Wikipedia, so that's where I got my research from. So.
Research.
So,
God.
Yes, no, maybe. Well, actually, what was also kind of weird was that I was going to mention the fact that you and Lisa both have a win in the, I think it's called the Lucha de Espuetes, I believe it is, which is basically like the mask versus hair or the hair versus title kind of deal. Lisa's 1-1, and Mickie, you're actually undefeated in that category. So,
yeah.
Yeah, we don't talk too much about that.
We do this, yes.
Oh my goodness.
You know, it's so funny, like, all these facts, I'm like, gosh, you forget. Like, even when you were, like, naming off some of that stuff, and I'm sure, Lisa, it's the same for you. It's like, you forget, like, really all the stuff. We've done so much stuff and been so many places and done so many things that you forget. And, like, all these, like, things that are actually really cool accomplishments that we were just like, oh, yeah, I did that thing.
And you forget, you think that we should be, like, 80 years old for all the stuff that we've done, though, right? Because it's like, and there's, like, matches that people come up to you at Comic-Cons, and I'm like, I don't remember that match. And they remember everything. And I'm like, I don't remember. I'm sorry. Yeah.
You can't remember everything. That happens a lot at Comic-Cons especially. It's like, oh, do you remember this? And it's like, you guys have done so many fantastic things, you know, and you should be so proud of that. But it's a little bit unnerving, I'm sure, when they're like, do you remember? And you're like, not really. Glad you do.
Yeah,
exactly. You almost feel like you're kind of crapping on it because you're like, well, maybe it didn't mean anything to us, right? But we're not shitting on it or anything like that. We're just, we've done so much.
Yeah.
Well,
I think we've been blessed to do so much too, and it's like cool to have all these things, but they start to calculate up, and you forget how much they mean in the fans' eyes. I think that's really the real, because you forget, like, aside from like winning the championship and those moments right there's a lot of other stuff I think that happens, like when you listed off some of that PWI stuff, and it was like, wow, I forgot about that. Like, I forgot I was, you know what I mean? Not completely forgot, but it was you forget about all those like little things, little milestones along the way that at that time were pretty big, especially as a woman. I think those, a lot of the stuff that we were able to do were pretty monumental for women. And I think because we have sometimes, or there's this whole first ever kind of trend or like things that we forget about all those things that other women had done prior, indirectly.
Yeah, it's
wait for NWA to come out. Look at all those first timers too. Like, you're going to have amazing matches there too. So we're excited what you bring to the table, Mickie, at your organization. Man,
I'm really well. This work, teamwork makes the dream work. We're all doing this together, aren't we? It's like it really is. It's like it's crazy to see it come together, and I'm so excited. But I think obviously it's not the first time ever a women's wrestling show has been put out there or presented, and I always applaud, and I want more of that. I think that women having a place to shine and truly showcase who they are as performers and athletes is like an amazing thing all the way around. Whoever's doing it, it's just when it's been presented on, it's never really been presented on a television aspect in a larger light, So that's the cool factor for me, is like to be able, and now I can like try to use what we know from being in the business and growing in the business and climbing up the ranks, because it was all like that journey that really got us to those moments, to be able to help guide some of these younger girls that are coming up. You know what I mean? So maybe it isn't as hard. We already know it's not as hard for them as it was. Some probably harder than others coming up, because it's just a different atmosphere, and it's a different. Women's wrestling has such a respect around it now, where it didn't always. You know, I think it's always been respected in the locker room, but not in the public perception, I should say. Where now is a lot of people are like, no, we really love the women, and like we come to see the women, and we look at the women as real athletes and real competitors. And it's taken a while to get there. I think it's taken a while for women to get there in the world of wrestling. So it's really cool that we're in this place right now. And so, yeah.
And also, too, like, I'd like to chime in. Sorry about my tram noises. So, like, Val just texted me, we can hear the trolley outside your door. I have my window. Sorry about that. I just shut the window, and I just shut my blackout curtains and the noise cancellation curtains. But to have, like, you know, you running this promotion, Mickie, and having, like, respected, like, you know, I've heard a couple people that are going to be part of this, and having people that have been there, done that, run this is a different aspect than some Joe Schmo promoter going, I think it'd be cool to have my own promotion, and they don't know squat about wrestling, and they've not been there, you know?
Right. Well, and we've all been there, right? Like, we've worked from, like, top companies where people do know, like, they know exactly what they're doing, and it's put out, like, and I think, too, we look at all of our careers, and, you know, for the longest time, for however long, you know, wrestling has been presented on television, it's always been, and nothing against that, because I go, like, some of my greatest blessings have come from these things, and, like, some of my greatest moments in our careers have come from these things, but they were all decided and portrayed by, like, a man's vision of what a woman is on wrestling television, you know? So now to be in a space, because there wasn't as many women working behind the scenes and doing that, but now there's so many talented women and so many talented, like, former champions and women who have been to the dance, who know how to make money on television, that can help cultivate the future crop, you know, so we can truly shine as a unit all together. So that's the cool part for me, because we always look about how we're going to give back to the business, even if, you know, we're not going after gold or glory anymore. Like, how do you still be involved and give back to the business in a different way that still feels like it's doing something special and doing something in line with your purpose, you know? And so that's kind of where I'm at.
No, for sure. Yeah. And I have to praise Nate here and give Nate a little rub by saying Nate is one of those people, like, you know, like our friend Ella, and like, we all love women's wrestling. Nate has always supported and championed women's wrestling and been so respectful and so encouraging about women's wrestling. So Nate, that's something that we also want to thank you for, not only for having us here today, but for always being a supporter and a proponent of women's wrestling, for sure.
Aww.
It's one of those things where you definitely do see the whole deal. And also, by the way, for those of you that are curious, this episode is going to be entitled #GAW TakeOver, because I guarantee you I'll probably only get maybe about a couple items in, and I'm just going to let these women talk, because honestly, I could do this all day. This was literally what it was last time you guys were on. But honestly, seeing how women's wrestling has evolved and see how women's, you know, roles in wrestling have evolved from the early days of Miss Elizabeth going into the days of now the Beckys, the Charlottes, the Mickeys, the Lisas, everybody that has been, you know, contributing to women's wrestling. It's just been absolutely amazing to see that, and to get the chance to be able to say that, hey, I was there live when, you know, women main evented WrestleMania for the first time. I was truly honored by that. Even if people said the finish was a botch, I don't care. It's literally one of those things where it's like, it's still historic. It was still great. Still loved it. Hate the fact that we were rained out on it like literally like 10 minutes after the show was done. And I was just telling Val that her Uber experience was kind of like my Uber experience, except, you know, more rain-filled in New York City.
No, I said to Nate before you gals got on here, I was like, have you ever tried to get an Uber after a WrestleMania? Because in New Orleans, oh my good God, it was like what originally was the journey to get there was about $12, and then after Mania, because it was so busy, it was over $100. I've never seen pandemonium like that ever. Crazy.
Wow.
Thanks.
I live downtown, so there's Ubers like every freaking second, and they're like, and if they see you standing out, are you waiting for an Uber? And I'm like, you're not my driver. They're like, you can cancel it. I'm right here. You know, they're all like just like scavengers a little bit. But yeah, I want to say thank you so much for it. Like about the botching and all that kind of stuff. Like, you know, we are humans. We make mistakes. And then people forget, you know, when there's a movie out there and you have stunt people and they mess up, they get a retake. They can do that whole shot again and they get it perfect. We don't. We're in front of a live audience. We get one chance only, no redos. So, you know, we are not perfect, you know, close to it. I'm just kidding. but it's just a lot. Yeah, it's just a lot of pressure, right? Just going, you know, the nerves going out there. You're just pray to God that the fans are entertained and no one gets seriously hurt. Is that what? Those are my number one prayers. Is not like going. I never pray. I hope the finish doesn't get messed up. I'm just like, let's not anyone get seriously hurt and the fans just go ape shit. Pardon my language.
You can say whatever you want on here. It doesn't matter as far as we have no language barrier as far as the show goes, Lisa. So you could say whatever you like. Oh, I also did forget to mention in the intro that Lisa is the only person that is legally allowed to call me Nate the Freak after the cameo that you sent me a while back.
Okay, you've given us GAW Takeover as a hashtag. Next hashtag, ladies and gentlemen, for those keeping score at home, hashtag Nate the Freak.
Let's make it happen, Captain. Boom.
Honestly, Nate, how many hashtags do we go through per episode? It's always a hell of a lot.
Honestly, as far as like the hashtag and trending, I'm not exactly one of those people that goes too crazy on that because I don't believe that social media is my entire life. There's so much other things out in the world that definitely.
Why not? I'm just kidding.
Well, you see,
Mickie says, "How dare you?" She said.
Well, this will probably be the first and last time I hear Mickie on the show again, but
Nate, if you're not taking every photo imaginable of your avocado toast, like how do we know you even exist? You know, it's one of those. You know, that's what we like about social media.
Okay,
exactly. And the mostly like when I'm on my phone and David's like, I thought there's no phones after 5. I go, I'm looking at baby Pomeranians. That's like I follow animals. I follow a lot of animal sites, and I'm like, oh, look at this elephant. Look at this elephant. Look at this dog. Oh my god! Yeah, I'm not into the wrestling social media so much. So like, you know, ODB will ask me, did you see my last post? I go, no. Like, I didn't search you.
Yeah. It's hard to keep up with it all, though, right? Like,
That's
especially because the way the algorithms work and how they filter it. It's like I miss so much stuff. And then it's almost like, well, you feel obligated, whether it's FOMO or whatever, to go in and just check in at least once a day. And then you'll get lost. It's like a wormhole, right? Like, you just get lost down the whole thing. It's hard. It's hard to toggle it all because it's a blessing and a curse because you need social media, especially in today's environment, to like really push out and market, keep yourself in front of the public eye. But you know, some people are pumping out so much stuff, and I don't believe in that of like all like a million posts or whatever. So I try to make all my posts count. But then I look like, well, half my post, even my one post that I do a day, you know, every other day or whatever it is, it's probably lost in all this because when I go on my social media thing and then I like scroll through the first, I don't know, 10 or so, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then I hit the scroll to the top button. So anything in that space, I just went right past. And now I'm at the top and going like, okay, these 10 are cool at the top here. And then that's it. And then I'm done.
Yeah, that's actually a really cool algorithm by Instagram that it kind of like, it brings what you look at the most to the top of your feed. So that, like Lisa's right, I don't see ODB. I don't see my actual real life friends. I see, a baby hippopotamus crushing a watermelon in his mouth. That's the kind of content I am here for. I will tag you guys in the post. You think I'm kidding? That's what I find joy in, is the most ridiculous. I follow more dogs than people. That's what I love about social media, just the frivolity of it all.
Yeah. And it's I'm like you, Mickie. It's like I scroll down 10 and I'm bored. I'm super ADHD, and I'm just like, I used to enjoy seeing what my friends were doing, but then I hit a wall. Like 10, I'm like, okay, I'm done. I got to put this phone down. And again, you guys know I love that movie, Social Dilemma, and I'm going to preach it till freaking cows come home. People need to watch Social Dilemma and stop being on the phones when you're out being social.
You swear by that movie.
Yeah, we say this as we're all on our phones doing a podcast, but hey-ho.
to be fair, this is a productive use of phones, okay? We're not just looking at, just Twitter and Instagram feeds, which is also one of the reasons why Val's not on my notifications on Twitter anymore, because almost every other notification, I'm like, oh, what is she going on now? What's she going on now? I don't need this in my life here. I'm sorry.
I would recommend putting me on a notification because Twitter's my favorite, and I just, like Mickie said, I just sort of go on a spree. And I actually, you think that's bad, Nate? I actually try to curtail that by putting things in my drafts so I don't tweet as much. So you're only seeing about 80% of what I actually want to be tweeting, and it's a hell of a lot. I think Twitter is so fast and fun and silly. Instagram, you have to have a photo. It's a bit more like, artsy. Twitter's just ridiculous, and I love that.
Yeah, I use Twitter more for fun. I feel like I can joke and just do whatever, and I don't take Twitter as seriously. It used to be that I used to take it a lot more seriously when it was the only thing. But as we've gotten there, I go okay, Twitter is just entertainment and to pop myself and for jokes and for inside jokes that we can just kind of all kinds of stuff. Whereas most of the time for Instagram, I use that and even Facebook more targeted to. Obviously I share my home life and my family life, but also if I have specific things that I'm trying to make sure, like my concert coming up or Empower or GAW TV,
Wink, wink.
Or Legacy Sucks.
Yeah, all the things. So it's picking and choosing, and I'm still trying to learn the art of when you're supposed to actually do these posts, because there's a whole art to it, and I think some people have really mastered it, and that's why they've become so successful on that. But like Lisa said, I am not the most technology savvy person in the world, nor do I have the time to sit there and do all that or want to, because then it takes away from the moments that I really want to be living. I always forget, we talked about this too before, is I always forget, I have to remind myself, hey, take a picture, because I always forget. I'm just living in it, right? So that's just a whole different mindset that I think we didn't grow up in. So we don't necessarily always take the times to do that because we're just living in the moment and living in it. But you still, I'm so regretful for it because there's so many memories that I don't have any footage or pictures from or anything, like Japan or those tours or just sleepovers or locker room parties, stuff like that, where I'm going man, I really wish I would.
Yeah, so do I. And I wish we did more pictures backstage because a lot of these people have passed away. We missed that opportunity just to take that friendly photo. But I think we're on camera. We're doing camera work so much that when you're around your friends, someone goes, oh, did you take a picture with Tori when you saw her at the golf at US Open? I go, I didn't even think about taking a picture. I was enjoying the moment. And I wish I did, because they're like, oh, you didn't have a picture with Tori? I go, I didn't even think about it. You know what I mean? I was just enjoying the time, that kind of stuff, and just enough with the camera, right? It's just, but I do wish we do use it more often. Yeah.
Well,
I'm with you, sister.
I will say this, that I could have had that same opportunity, Lisa, when I was sitting next to you and Gail Kim during All In. But the thing was, I think there was a part of me that also was just realizing that there have been a lot of fans that have been very abusive of the whole, invasion of privacy, as well as, not getting the consent from a lot of people to actually take those pictures. So that's kind of something where, it's kind of a double-edged sword when you kind of think about it. Because of the fact that, you want to, relish in these moments, but there's also some of those moments where it's I think I'm just going to keep it in my bank because of the fact that, it's special to me for that reason. I mean, I would have loved to have had a picture where I was saying I sat next to Gail Kim and Lisa Marie. It was awesome. But now it's one of those things where I cherish it that much more because it's I'm one of those people that can only have witnessed it. I can talk about it, they can believe me or not, but that's just who I am.
But Nate, that's commendable because I said to the girls, before they kind of met you, I said, he's such a gentleman, he's so respectful and professional, and not a lot of people would have made that discernment to go, it's not appropriate for a picture right now, let me just enjoy the moment. So kudos to you, Nate. That's very classy.
Very classy. And also, don't forget, we're doing signings and autograph signings and pictures all day long.
Oh, yeah.
It's very respectful when people do that, like what you just did, because we want to enjoy our off time too and not have to be on. I mean, I would love to go out without makeup, but I'm going, just in case, I better put some kind of face on just in case someone goes, hey, are you Victoria? And I'm like, God damn it. I get recognized. Can I take a picture? And I go, yes, and then you're going to post this one, aren't you? Yeah. Right?
So I can filter it.
Yeah, send it to me. drop it to me so I can filter it and send it back.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, that's absolutely amazing. Just it's really funny because Lisa, when it came down to you, one of the things that I remember you saying especially during GAW TV is that everybody wants to see Victoria. They don't want to see Lisa. I'm going to be one of the first people that says anytime I see you, I want to meet Lisa. I don't. As much as I love seeing Victoria, as much as I see Tara, I want to meet Lisa because Lisa's somebody who I've been falling in love with ever since GAW TV came into being what it is right now.
Oh, that's so nice. I know. That's why with a G. That's why I wear my gear. I'm always still made fun of, like, you wear your wrestling gear for signings. I'm like, yeah, that's my persona. People want to take a picture with that wrestler, but I am myself at the appearances. You know what I mean? They'll get the goofy, spastic, dramatic, hot mess of a girl. They'll realize what they're like. Holy shit! I did not know what she was like. Double-edged sword there.
Well, I think too, because Lisa, your character on television was pretty terrifying. It was crazy. You were like could kick ass, and like it was. So people were often, I think, a little nervous to meet you. And I think, but then when you get Lisa Marie, you get the Lisa that we know and love, and that's just a whole different animal. It's a whole different person.
And may I go ahead and be as bold to say that this might be a hashtag too? You made crazy really hot. So hashtag crazy hot. You did. And it's this weird thing that, like, you know how people, I was just having this conversation with a friend of mine earlier today, and I was like, isn't it funny, hello men listening out there, isn't it funny how men always have, I have this psycho ex-girlfriend. Oh, do you? Did you make her psycho? But your character was like a psycho girlfriend, but it was really sexy and hot. May I say that? Is it allowed?
You can say that, but I didn't see myself as like that. When I watch old videos and like when people post this, I'm like, oh, I'm terrified of myself. I'm like, oh my god, who is that chick? And I just became that bully from school. That was it, and just like just beating up the little girls and teaching them a lesson, that kind of stuff. I became the person I don't like. I'll be honest with you.
Did you draw inspiration from an actual bully? That's really insightful. What happened there? Was there someone you had in mind that you sort of emulated?
Oh, yeah, I was like, I got bullied in junior high school by this girl that wouldn't, she kept on pushing me around. And, and I see I have 3 older brothers, and you would think I would have like, I'm going to freaking kick your ass, right? But I was like, I'm a people pleaser. I like to get along with, it really hurt my feelings. I just became that freaking 9th grader when I was a 6th grader, picking on the little kids that are not even old enough to freaking, go off to the mall by themselves. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I became like, and I also watch a lot of TV too. You guys know that. I love my movies, and I just became those people that I don't like. I'm like, man, yeah. But nowadays, if I see bully somebody now, I will beat the hell out of somebody if I see someone bully somebody. I will. David was like, when I'll see something happen, and I'm like, and I'll start walking a little faster and faster, and I'm like, and he's like, hey, don't. They might have a gun. I go, oh my God. I go, oh, yeah. It infuriates me. Yeah.
I just find that fascinating to know, and I don't think we've ever talked about that, Lisa. There's an exclusive for you, Nate, that your character was sort of drawn from personal experiences, and I hate to say it, but it is kind of like method acting. It's sort of like you're drawing from your own experiences, and you're sort of like becoming this character that you've pulled from different areas of your life. That's really cool. That's very cool. I never knew that.
Yeah. And I don't like to make fun of people behind their backs too, like to mock people. You know what I mean? You're around that all the time.
Yeah.
I gotta say, look at your hair.
Get a haircut.
I'm terrible.
Oh my God.
Get a haircut, kid. I forgot about that. I can't.
Nice high waters. See, I'm aging myself. That's when we used to get made fun of for their pants are too short. Nice high waters. That's how old I am.
Hashtag high waters.
My God. The fact that I'm writing down all these hashtags, it tells me either I am just this crazy or Val has taken over my mind. So
listen, you know what, Nate? And any excuse to be trending. It could be crazy hot. It could be, you never know what hashtag's going to stick. We're going to throw them against the wall and see what happens.
Well, it's funny because I'll always say that, you know, I did Crazy Chicks, and obviously people are like, oh yeah, that's AJ Lee. I'm like, no, I'm talking about like the original Crazy Chick. Oh, was there somebody before that? It's like there were two. The names were Victoria and Mickie James.
I feel that certain guys are attracted to crazy ass girls.
Oh yeah.
They're like, why do I got another psycho? Well, there's a thing about you too. It says a lot about you that you're attracted to that, or you made them psycho.
It's a pattern, and guess what? The common denominator is you, bro. A lot of guys are like that. Sorry. Again, to all our male listeners, it could be you. Hey, here's a PSA. Are you attracted to psychopaths? Well, you know, take a look in the mirror, bro.
How is it I could see that actually being a commercial?
Show, guys. We could help so many people with their dating.
I know.
What?
You know, Nate, Lisa talked about the fact that she and ODB were going to do like a dating show, and I have to say, like, I find those shows so funny when girls are just talking about their past on like dating apps and whatever. And Lisa and Mickie and I very often will get into like dating stories, especially on our Patreon. By the way, it's patreon.com/GAW TV.
Hey.
We get very unfiltered on there, cheap plug. And we talk about these dating stories, but it is really fascinating to hear from women that have been through this kind of stuff before, or like guys that, like you said, are like yourself, Nate, that are a little attracted to someone that's a bit unhinged, you know? I didn't know that about you, Nate. There's an exclusive.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
You're
not
like psychos. The dating app, the dating that, like when ODB and I were talking about doing that show, I remember talking to Gail about it. She goes, "Oh my God, I would totally tune in." But I was like, we both met somebody, and I was like, I don't want to hear about freaking my boyfriend's freaking dating life and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just, it was horrendous. I'll tell you that. We would go like, oh my God, listen to this story. This date I went on last night. Oh my God, it's a nightmare. I don't know how people, it's so scary to date now because like when you're doing those dating apps, I was on the dating apps, you know, and my job entitlement was, I just said I worked at Comic Cons. So I could have been a volunteer or that kind of thing. So I'm really not lying, but I never told anybody I was a wrestler. And, but it's, you tell people what they want to hear on that. And you're not, when you meet them, you're like, wow, that's not the person that they just portrayed themselves, you know? And there's a lot of ghosting going on and stuff like that. It's scary. Scary to
Nate, speaking of scary, Lisa actually, one time we were texting when she was on the dating app, and she met a guy, no joke, that had a lava lamp. And I was like, you got to get out of here. He has a lava lamp. He's got a lava lamp in 2000, whatever the hell it was. So I was like, run, girl, run for the wind. Get out of here.
Unbelievable.
So I do have to beg the question, was it a lava lamp kind of like just a regular lava lamp, or are we talking like Toy Story lava lamp like Sid had?
It's a normal, like a lava lamp from the 70s.
Okay.
That kind of lava lamp, you know what I mean? It was purple, and the oil thing was going up and down, and I was just like, what the hell? Yeah, I was so appalled. I mean, I thought it was like, you know, I figured I would do it as a joke, going, yeah, I got a lava lamp, and then, you know, you press this button, my bed comes, you know, the blankets come down, you know, that kind of a joke, but it was serious, and I was like, and that date was so awful. He goes, okay, are we going to go to my place or your place? And I go, do you think this date went well? This was, what? I was so
you think
shocked.
this is going well?
Yeah, I laughed. I go, and he goes, serious.
Oh
and
my
they
God.
all say they want a relationship, and that's a freaking lie. They want to just screw around and sleep around, and that's it. You're just a conqueror. You're another, what is it, a notch in a belt, as they say?
Notch on the
Yes,
belt.
yes.
Mm-hmm. You're another little bubble in the lava lamp, you know? Gross. You're another like goopy glob in the lava lamp, you know?
So basically what I'm learning from what I'm learning from here is basically one pickup line I should never use is, hey, want to go home and see my lava lamp? It's like, no.
Nate, don't do it. Don't you ever do it.
It went well. That would have popped me. I would have gone, oh, that's really funny. But the date did not go well. Yeah, it was terrible. Oh,
funny. I'm dying, dude.
All about a lava lamp.
When I hear that people that are single and they're dating, I'm like, God bless you. I don't know. This generation right now, it is so difficult, and especially when you're older too, to find somebody that is a good match. Because like at my age, when I started dating, I'm already set in my ways. I'm not going to compromise. I'm like, this is what you get. I'm not changing. I'm already 47 years old. I'm not going to be a different personality. This is what you get. You know what I mean? We're very stubborn. Even guys, not females, everyone.
What?
No, well,
Girl,
yeah.
no.
Wait a minute. What was that, Nate?
I said, she said guys are stuck in their ways too. I'm like, what, girl? No, we're not stuck in our ways. We're adaptable. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, no.
Real malleable there, Nate. Sure.
I know. Speaking as the only single one in this group, thank you, Val.
Hey, you're very welcome. Honestly, that needs to be the next episode, Nate. Us talking about dating stories. I'm sure you've got some of your own. It's honestly that we do try to talk about it on GAW TV because it's such an interesting topic, and that's not the only thing we talk about on GAW TV. You know, on YouTube, GAW TV show, YouTube.com/GAW TV show. These things do sneak in, and it's actually really funny because I think people really respond to the fact that the girls are so honest about their dating past and stuff, because a lot of people are still single. They're still trying to navigate the world of dating. And I think that's actually a good thing to share your stories. And, we're laughing about it, but these are the things that people don't always talk about. They're too shy to talk about. And it's nice to hear from a woman's perspective or a man's perspective. Like Lisa said, there's a lot of ghosting, a lot of really weird things that go on. And it's like, how is this happening? It's really hard to date in this day and age.
And catfishing. There's catfishing.
Mm-hmm.
And they over filter their face. And when you meet them, you're like, whoa, they could have filtered just a little bit, not as much as they did. But it's when I tell people I was on the dating apps. You were on the dating apps? I go, yes. It's hard for me to meet somebody too. You know what I mean? I'm not that confident chick that goes in the wrestling ring to do a good show. I'm still normal and human. Like, it's I don't go clubbing to go meet somebody. They say, go to the grocery store. Yeah, that doesn't happen. Do you know what I mean? So it's difficult to meet somebody. I just feel sorry for. Like, if I didn't have this relationship, I make a joke all the time. I'd be single. I'm like, I can barely handle one man in my life. So it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
By the way, for anyone listening, we're all proponents, I think, of dating apps. I've known a lot of people that have been engaged from being someone on a dating app, married, happy in a relationship. I think it's really healthy to be on dating apps. Yeah, it really is. It is just funny though once in a while to share some horror stories because listen, out of the people that you meet there has to be some funny meetups that have gone horribly wrong. Hashtag
horribly wrong. And okay, this is an example too. I'm going to try to make it really quick. I don't want to take over the show. But I went on, I was like, oh, wow, this guy's really handsome. Of course you're going to look at the picture first, right? And I was like, Ben Silverman. I know that name, Ben Silverman. What the hell? He was pretending to be this pro golfer. And I was like, Ben Silverman. I Googled it. I go, Ben Silverman is married and has kids. And I'm like, hey, dude, why are you pretending to be? I didn't say dude. I go, you're not Ben Silverman. He's married with 2 kids, and you're pretending to be a pro golfer. And then he goes, well, this is actually what I look like. And it was night and day. I would have been so freaking pissed off if I went on a date, and this guy was 70 years old, and you're portraying to be a 45-year-old, or a 30, whatever. I don't know how old he is, but it's shocking what people do. Shocking.
He thought that he would get you to fall in love with him via Tinder, and then
Tender.
Eventually, when you saw him and you met in the flesh, it wouldn't matter because you fell in love.
I would fall so head over heels in love with him, Mickie.
Yeah,
it's a classic Tinderella story. That's what that's.
Tinderella.
We should have a GAW app where we set up our friends on dates.
No way.
Oh yeah.
But I don't want to be responsible if they don't get along. I'd be like, I'm sorry.
Hey, we only promised that you would meet somebody. We didn't promise that it would work out. Just to be fair.
Exactly. So, Nate's hit the nail on the head. So no guarantees. No guarantees.
So,
oh my God.
So I will tell you this. I don't think I've ever really told this story, so this will be one that I'll tell everybody as well as you ladies here. So, this actually happened the weekend of AEW Revolution when it was in Chicago. So this would have been 2020 before the pandemic happened. I met this girl at one of the local indie shows for sake of, keeping the innocent safe, quote unquote. We're just going to give her the alias name of Tasha. So met up with Tasha, and we actually kind of working along very well. And what ended up happening was that I said, hey, let's go to, AEW Revolution. And she said, okay, yeah, sounds great. So weekend of the show comes. I've already got everything set up. I got the hotel rooms, set up. I had them separate because I'm a gentleman. I'm respectable because of that. I had like the car ride, everything else set up. So say, okay, we're going to meet at this time. Head on down. It's going to be a great time. So made up at the point, and she says, well, I got something that's going on right now, so just give me a bit and I'll be ready. About 2 hours pass. It's like, hey, are you still good? Are we still good? It's like, yeah, no, I'll be there soon. It really gets to the point where it's dark, which is where it gets a little bit scary because you see Chicago people driving, and in the nighttime, it's not fun. So she says, I'll just meet up with you, at the show later on. So I'm thinking, okay.
Oh, so you bought her the ticket to the AEW show?
Yeah, I literally thought that it was all set up and ready to go. Let's go. And I thought, hey, I knew her enough to be like, okay, she's nice, it's fine. So went there. Next morning, didn't really hear from her. So I'm like, hey, is everything okay? Is everything okay? She never responded. So went to that entire weekend and went to the AEW Revolution show by myself. Went to C2E2 by myself, where I met a lot of great people, including Channel Awesome. I got to catch up with Noel Foley and, what's his name? Frank the Clown, there we go. Got to meet up with Hurricane because he's freaking amazing. Met up with a lot of people. I know. Met up with a lot of people, including MJF, who actually was a lot nicer to me than I was expecting. I was expecting him to call me Fat Man or something like that, but he literally just saw my replica belt. It's like, oh, did you win that championship? Yeah. Did you earn it? Yeah. Okay. But he also was taking on Cody Rhodes the previous night, so he had like a couple staples or stitches above his eyes. So it's kind of those things like he probably was there. I know, Val, you are allergic to bruises and everything. We know this. You've established this. I've heard this on the show.
My blood's just freaking me out.
Okay, wait, your date. Go back to your date.
Okay, so literally, entire weekend, didn't hear from her, and then it wasn't until a friend of mine who actually knew her said, well, apparently she didn't respond to anybody, and she was out with some guy during that deal. I'm like, you kidding me? So I spent all this money, and I did all this deal for basically no reason. He's like, dude, I'm sorry, man. And he wasn't trying to be sarcastic or anything like that, but that was literally one of those moments where it's like, wow, you think you know somebody, and they just don't treat you. And I see.
Let me ask you something, Nate. So did you fly her to said destination, or was she already there?
No, she was never. She never showed up to the event. She never showed up to the hotel room that I had set up.
Did she live in Chicago? Were you on the app and you guys hooked up through the app in Chicago?
No, we actually met in an independent show here in Wisconsin.
What I'm saying, how did she get to Chicago?
She never made it to Chicago, is what I'm saying.
She did.
Wow. She got stuck in the Swiss cheese. What can you say?
She got stuck in the Swiss cheese.
Well, that's one way of looking at it.
I believe in karma, though. I really think bad people think, that's really, she could have just called you and say, you know what? I kind of jumped the gun. I might be getting back to my boyfriend or I'm not really interested. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I mean, just be honest instead of wasting each other's time, dude.
Oh, my gosh. Honesty is always the best policy, and you'll avoid so much more drama.
Absolutely.
I think what the issue is, and we actually were talking about this recently, Lisa, is people don't like confrontation, but actually, it's Sex and the City line. Hello, posted episode. Go Google it immediately. Avoiding the awkward conversation, avoiding that conflict is that's what makes you the bad person. So just be honest, if you're not interested or if you're not going to show up, whatever, because that just saves people a lot of heartache. I don't know how people live with themselves.
And it breaks so much, their hearts. It makes their mind goes crazy. What did I do? I'm not attractive. I'm not worthy enough. And then they start like breaking themselves down, and you're freaking hurting someone's feelings and their whole personality, and it screws them up from dating in the future, and just, it's so mean. So mean.
It's so mean. Nate, if you don't mind, honestly, after the call, if you'd like to share her phone number and address, we'll happily go over there, shake some sense into this girl, and tell her that she needs to be more careful with people's feelings, because that is some BS. She is not a grown-ass woman. She is canceled here and now.
Not up in here.
Not up in here. Not up in here. Have you seen her out and about, like, around town? Is it that much of a small town, or no?
No, so we live in different towns, so we don't see each other frequently or anything like that. We just met up at one of the local independent shows, so I will see her from time to time.
You'll cross paths now, because if she's an indie fan.
She's also dating one of the wrestlers that I'm friends with, so it's going to be wrestling. It's going to be kind of like,
Lord in heaven.
Poor Nate, I'm sorry. Sorry, brother.
No,
I'm sorry too.
It's fun.
You know what? She's dating a wrestler. She already got her karma now.
I was going to say that. I didn't want to sound horrible, but that's totally true. And Nate, honestly, I mean, not to get all sappy, but you deserve a fantastic. We have very high standards for you. You deserve someone lovely. You're such a pro, such a gentleman, and come on now. She missed out, and you deserve better than that. It's not right. Like Lisa said, it hurts people's feelings, and you don't turn on people's emotions like that. It's not okay.
Yeah.
As Mickie said, not up in here.
Not up in here.
I don't even.
What's that movie? What's that from? With Will Ferrell, right? Not up in here.
Not up in here.
Okay, other guys.
What? No.
Other guys. Isn't that the movie? Other guys?
I think that's The Hangover. I think it's Rob Riggle.
No, it's the other guys, because they get arrested and they're in the office, and the lady goes, "Not up in here." And the guy goes, "Not up in here."
Yeah. That is The Hangover. That is The Hangover.
Okay, no, not Hangover. It's Other Guys.
No, it was. Well, they might have done it in the Other Guys as well as Hangover, but I do remember that exactly, because they were saying, rob these cop cars. Not up in here. Not up in here. I do remember that now.
It's really funny. Yay.
Yeah. ADHD at its finest. We just went off on tangents, didn't we?
Yes, sorry. Are we still doing an interview, Nate? I apologize.
Hey, I was just thinking. I don't.
Any questions?
I was about to say, who needs therapy at this point? I got 3 grown ass women who are going to have my back no matter what. I don't need therapy. But no, it's actually crazy.
You'll get your bill in the mail. Don't worry. We don't know what we're talking about. We're here to support you, Nate. And again, I have to say, like Mickie said, we're very sorry that happened, and it happens to a lot of people, and it's happened to us before. My goodness, we all had horror stories about people taking advantage of our feelings, and it's just a shitty thing to do. It really is. So onward and upward.
Yes.
So I will say this, as I'm enjoying a little bit of the bubbly here, as I mentioned on Twitter, because, my God, I had a little bit this weekend. I also had a bottle full where I did a drunk wrestling deal because I was inspired by Wrestling Isn't Wrestling to do something like this. So I thought, why don't I just basically get a little bit of a buzz and just talk about something? So I have an episode of Hulk Hogan that I'm probably going to be releasing sometime this week. It probably is already out by the time this episode's been released. So it's going to be one of those things where it's like, wow, you're going to see Nathan at his most buzzed as well as his probably happiest at this point, because just saying brother consistently. And when the only thing I can remember from that show was, don't drink and drive, people. It's like, oh boy, hopefully this is not going to be one of those bad shows.
Don't drink and film. That we should be taking our own advice on GAW TV. This is where we encourage the drinking.
I have to give a little comment on that, because I saw something today. When our show is so much fun, and I always say to people, how the hell is this our job that we get to sit down and have cocktails and a slumber party with our friends and chat, and that's our show. But we curtail it. We keep it responsible. But I don't want to name names, Madison LaCroix from Southern Charm on reality TV. But there are certain people, covertly, certain people that are in the media right now. I follow all of the Bravo TV reality shows, and they make the mistake, which I think is so dumb. They make the mistake of going on IG Live and doing these live shows when they are beyond hammered. We're talking nip slips, saying racist things. They do all these horrible things when they're hammered. Like Lisa said, don't, drunk tweet, don't drunk IG live. What are people thinking? Come on, you got to have some responsibility there.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say they're drinking on the show, but I'm sure they encourage that because it's more drama. And
they do.
Yeah. But if I saw that train wreck I'll be honest with you, Val, on Instagram, I saw this girl or a guy, whatever, out of control and super drunk, I might tune into that show to see what a hot mess they are. So they might have might have inherited another viewer from me because I want to see someone worse off than me.
It's like watching a train wreck, and it's so sad. But because I heard of this today, again, I already said who it was. She seems like an absolute mess of a person in the first place. But, just to put it lightly. But I have to say, I went and found the footage of, what is everyone talking about? Because, it's all over the media. And this girl, bless her heart, was just hammered with her friend and falling all over the place. Why on earth? What would compel you to go IG Live when you are 16 sheets to the wind? I don't get it. Listen, I love a cocktail or 5. But I ain't going to go on IG Live, off my ass. I don't know what people are thinking these days. Come on.
Liquid courage, maybe. Yeah, that's true. I'm sure their agent, I'm wondering, if they get help from their agents going, what the freaking A are you doing? You know what I mean? But I do like seeing hot messes because that's my therapy. If someone's worse off than me, I'm like, I'm not that bad. I'm not that bad off.
I'll send you the videos, Lisa. It's hilarious.
Please. Oy vey.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of hot messes. I like Chelsea Green. So.
We love Chelsea.
Tell Chelsea.
I do. She's sweet.
She is absolutely awesome. One of the sweetest people I think I've ever met. But what I was actually going to say, really the start of the show was that I really wanted this show to be as big, if not even bigger, than the Friends reunion show that showed up on HBO Max. And Val and I were actually talking about this. And it was really funny because we were kind of talking which character would we be playing off? And I think we have it established here. And Val, correct me if I'm wrong, because this was coming from my end, so you might have some discrepancies with what I have to say. So I have it established as I'd be like the Chandler. Val would be, if she's feeling very, very, very perky, very happy, she'd be the Rachel. But if she's feeling very sluggish, she would definitely be Ross.
I already know who I am. I know who I am.
Well, so I told Nate, so Nate and I talk all the time, and I told Nate, I was like, Ross is my favorite friend. But what I think is funny is that people would see me as a Rachel, and I get that. She loves fashion, blah, blah, blah. But you guys know me very well, Nate included. Intrinsically, I'm a Phoebe. I'm a
Phoebe, too. I'm a Phoebe, too. I agree.
What are you, Mickie?
I think she's Courtney Cox.
Monica.
I'm probably a blend of Monica and Rachel.
Yeah, I would say that too.
I would think I'm a blend because I think I have personality. I always say this about Sex and the City, too. I go I don't think I'm necessarily defined into one of those characters. I'm certainly a blend of, 2. Maybe.
Yeah.
I have such a funny theory about that because, again, for all our female listeners, hey, girl, hey.
Hey.
The beautiful thing about Sex and the City and how well it's written is that Carrie is kind of the every woman. Everyone's a Carrie something hybrid. And I grew up thinking, and if the people that know the characters very well, I grew up thinking I was a Carrie Charlotte hybrid, right? But I thought that because Charlotte is very Chanel, very preppy. Personality-wise, the older I got, I was like, I can't stand Charlotte with her very old school.
Proper. She's too proper. She's proper.
Oh my God! And she's there's episodes where she talks about how you shouldn't have your own apartment because it's unattractive to a man. I wouldn't be friends with this girl ever. So I have evolved, ladies and gentlemen, to a Carrie. I've evolved, proudly evolved to a Carrie Samantha hybrid, and I'm owning it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
SoCal evolution.
More Carrie Miranda myself.
I see that too. Yeah. I think I'm a Samantha. Samantha.
Yeah.
The wild one that is that just will never grow up and just.
But don't you agree, Lisa and Mickie?
Doesn't give a shit about what people think of her. They don't.
Right. But don't you guys agree? So first of all, have you seen a lot of the show?
Except for the City. Oh, I was obsessed.
But Nate, have you seen a lot of the show?
Which show?
Did you fall asleep, or are you swiping right on Bumble, or what?
No, I asked because Lisa and Mickie, I know you guys will agree. the older you get, the more you go, oh my God, Samantha really had it figured out. She didn't let anyone tell her what to do. She never gave a crap about anyone's opinion. She is the OG. Carrie even has her own little neuroses about things, and she overthinks, which again, she's the everyone. We're all very Carrie. But truthfully, Samantha had it going on. She knew who she was. She never had to, be told. She was very strong. She's a GAW.
And that's what, and Val, we all talk, Mickie, Val, and myself, if people want to learn about women, they should watch and dating, go to Sex and the City and learn. That's what Val says. Watch Sex and the City, you'll learn a lot about females.
It's a free course in how women think, and if you, honestly, any of my single guy friends, I'm like, you think you know women? Watch that show in its entirety, and that's all you need to know. I'm telling you. It is free sex education, free female education. It is so well written, and just how women think and how they react and what they want and what they need in a relationship. It is a brilliant, brilliant show. It really is. There's more to it, because guys think, oh, it's just handbags and shoes, which we like also, P.S. But it is really, really poignant. It's very well written. It will help save you a lot of time, guys. For our male listeners, it will save you a lot of time and heartache.
Don't you? Doesn't it remind you guys, like their friendship is kind of like us. Like we kind of vent to each other. Like we are like each other's not backbone. I'm just saying we can tell each other our feelings and stuff without being judged. You'll give your opinion. We don't need to take it, but you still have. I have these two girls in my life that I can vent to, and they'll still love me unconditionally.
And no one, what the thing is too, is no one's keeping score. So legit. I know we're going to have a tangent here about Sex and the City. Sorry, Nate, but it is one of those things that we do have those friendships, and that makes me want to cry because it's a very, very close knit bond. And now we've roped you into it, Nate. So we do apologize. But you're our Samantha. No, I'm kidding.
Well, don't I feel honored? I mean, I already knew that I had I already knew I had competition with so many other people. I want to do a couple crossovers with a couple other podcasts. Chris Van Vliet is definitely one person, and then I got the chance to listen to your guys' show with Chavito, and all I thought to myself was, man, there's a reason why he gets along with so many people. he's a likable, adorable guy. So
he is wonderful.
He really is. He really is very likable and can relate with everybody. You know what I mean? Mickie, you just had a recent interview with him too.
I did?
With Chris Van Vliet?
Oh, with Chris. I thought he was talking about Chavo.
I was thinking the same thing.
Wait, are you talking about Chavo or Chris Van Vliet?
I went from Chris Van Vliet to Chavo, so I think the way you had to say.
Yeah, well, they're both wonderful people. Yeah.
No, I did have a good interview with Chris Van Vliet. I've had a couple interviews, but I love him. But obviously, Chavo is our brother from another mother. We love him to pieces. He's got his own podcast going now too.
Yeah, Superlicious and Cervezas, right?
Yeah. He has his own cigar coming out. He has his beer, and now he has tequila coming out too. Now, you guys.
Damn, bro.
Oh, sweet! Look at him go. Is he going to send us some tequila?
I know.
Honestly, I would really trust Chavo's tequila choices. He's a classy dude, and he would know his tequila. I feel like.
Yeah. I think The Rock should have sent us on Cinco de Mayo. I think he should have sent us a couple bottles of.
A couple bottles.
Teremana.
Lisa, what do you call him? Come on, Dewey.
Dewey, because I watched Young Rock. Yes, Dewey. I love that show. Guys, I love that show. Yeah.
Man, honestly, I think that this episode is a bit more chaotic than the one with Melina, but I think Melina brought also that kind-heartedness, and I loved talking to Melina, especially when we got to do the one-on-one interview. That was just absolutely great. But I can't think of three better women that I could be talking with right now than you three. I mean, honestly, it is kind of one of those things where it's like the evolution of what it is as far as experiences, life experiences. Val is still learning a couple of new things. Although I will say this: that Alan's armbar is still one of the best things on the show. Not gonna lie.
Oh my God, please! I will relay the message. Thank you, doll.
No, we need it back. I'm telling you guys. God, jeez, slapper. Just kidding.
Totally, I know.
Jeez,
yeah. God.
To what?
The dance off too. We just brought it back too.
Yes.
Oh my God! I was already going through
You know what? consider this an invitation. Next time we have a Patreon, whatever, Zoom chat, you've got to come in and see one just to see how funny it is. It's hilarious.
Can do, will do. I was thinking, like, you know, if we were to ever do, like, the show live and in person, all four of us are in a room, it's like, what are some of the things that we would even do, like, outside of this? It's like, okay, want to do a karaoke thing with Mickie, dance off with Lisa, even though she would kill me because I've heard the stories, and she definitely sounds
I'm older. I tried to do the worm the other day, and I shit you not. I'm at my brother's house, and I'm like, I used to do this. Like, you always know when Auntie is drunk because she'll do the worm, right? I try to do it, my freaking back. I was like, I slept last night. He goes, how'd you sleep? Yeah, I threw my back out.
I was about to tell you, Nate. I thought to myself, you know what you're getting yourself into, because Lisa and the worm goes hand in hand. So you better be careful.
You might outdance me. On this one. And then what do you do with Val? What are you going to do with Val?
Honestly, we probably would just do another pay-per-view prediction battle like we did in the old days, where she probably would.
Love that.
Well, people love the fact that literally she'd maybe dress up like a safety cone as well as put pigtails in my hair. So.
Yep. Yeah, so we had a very, for those listening, we had a very, very serious bet. And I'm actually surprised that I won. And Sir Nate the Great had to, don a little costume, little pigtails, little feminine moment there. It was adorable. You made it work, Nate. You sure made it work. It was beautiful. It was adorable. Everyone's talking about it.
It was one of those few times where literally I was like, wow, some of these women have like a fierce side. Like when I saw Gail Kim get pissed off during the women's matchup, I was like, I was not expecting to see this side of Gail Kim. But when I get to see
never. She's so easy, very cool-headed person, very go with the flow kind of girl. Get her mad. That's big time.
Terrifying. You know, it might have been on the show actually, Nate, with Lisa and Melina. I think it was. Weirdly enough. That somebody asked, like, okay, so if you had to be in a bar and there was a fight going on, one had your back. And I said, Lisa, and I think I said, because Gail, I think she destroys someone. Gail's very serious, and she would level someone out. And I love it because she doesn't look the type. She's so sweet, but my God, you flip that switch and you're done, brother.
Seriously.
Yeah.
But Nate, if you're not doing anything this Wednesday, please join our after party for Patreon. You can kind of get a sneak peek, a little sneak, as Mickie would say, sneak peek ski to our little, there's no rules in that.
It's fun.
There are rules, actually. You have to keep your pants on.
Oh, now you tell me. God damn it.
Pants on or not, because it's all on Zoom, and let's face it, everyone's pretty much pantsless in interviews these days.
Probably, Mickie. Probably.
Secrets out, you guys. Another exclusive for you, Nate. Another exclusive. Pants off, dance off.
Pants off, dance off, ladies and gentlemen. No rules, no holds barred.
Right.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh, I was trying to.
Do you have any questions for us, Nate? Nate, do you have any questions? I'm sure you had a list of stuff, but we just keep on talking.
Honestly, God, it was literally one of those expectations just going in. And I was telling Val before you even got on the call, I was saying like, there's no expectations when it comes to this. If I have like a question that comes up, like naturally, I'll bring it up. I'm never one of those people that likes to just go like talk about this and then go into another question. It's like.
Yeah, I don't like those either.
It's weird doing it that way. And sometimes, you bring it up in conversations like, I don't need to ask that question. Like hearing, Mickie's, talk of, how far women's wrestling has come. It's like, I don't need to ask any more about that. She's telling me how passionate she is about it. So why should I, hit the nail on the head?
Yeah. It's precisely why we don't do a lot of podcasts. I don't do a lot. It's the same thing over. And how'd you get in the business? And it's boring for me. And I just feel like I'm on a recorder, and I'm like, I should just record the last podcast I did because they asked the same questions. And to be organic, because you're like a robot. It's like it's not fun for me, and it's torture and tedious. And it's just like that's why I don't do a lot, because I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be the same questions over and over again, right, Mickie? Like Val, it has to be something special.
And you're something special, Nate.
You're special.
I did. And if you guys,
it's
going to be an an audio slumber party. It has been. So thank you, Nate, so much.
Thank you, Nate. If you see him on the dating apps, swipe right.
But ladies,
Don't stand him up. We're going to freaking...
you got a lava lamp.
If you stand him up, we're going to kick your ass.
Yeah, we will.
I feel like anytime I go on a date now, I should literally just message all three of you and just be like, hey, went on a date, and one of you will just be asking, was there a lava lamp involved? I'll be like, no.
Yeah.
So
Send us
that's
her
good.
name and her address, and,
Yeah.
Boom goes the dynamite.
Boom goes the dynamite.
Well, I think that's also one of the things that with this podcast, and especially working with Val for so long, is that I definitely did want to feel more relaxed and just not really stressed out about like some of the questions. Like I said, I could have like a long list of questions, which I'll actually tell you this. I did have one interview where literally the person would not let me interview them unless I had like a list of questions, and I felt so awkward doing that because I would much rather have it, just be like a flowing kind of natural kind of deal instead of feeling like, as you said, like a robot. Like, oh, what happened with this thing? When did you get into wrestling? When did you blah 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 blah
Yeah,
blah?
it gets repetitive, right?
Yeah.
That's why I watch NateFNGreat's podcast. I'm like, okay, what are some questions I shouldn't ask on the show? Okay, this was already asked. This was already asked. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, cool. So these are the things I will not ask during the show.
Yeah. Brilliant.
what is on your do not ask us list then?
Yeah.
Wow.
Is there a do not ask us anything? Like Mickie, Val, myself? Is there anything that do not ask it?
So usually I ask those kind of questions before we even record. Like I've had a couple of people where I have asked those questions where I've said, hey, is there something that you don't want me to ask? Is there anything that you don't want me to, discuss or anything like that? I think I've only had one person that has given me like a list of things that I've been told don't bring this up.
A list of things? Wow.
Not like a full list. I think it was like
That's not a fun interview when they have do's and don'ts. That's not fun.
well.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's necessary in certain things, like especially if it's come off of a certain, and they're just like,
Oh.
I don't want to talk about it. Like me and the freaking trash bag. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about the trash bag no more. Like, for real, I didn't want to talk. That's why I didn't do media around it for the longest time. And so finally I had to I was like, after even the first couple of interviews, I'm like, all right, can we just like curtsy away from the damn trash bag? For real?
And if you want to know about the trash bag, where do you tune in? YouTube.com.
You can get them at Walmart. How about that? You buy them at Walmart.
Or you can watch your segment when you talked about that at our GAW TV show.
Here we go.
Right.
You already
I'm
addressed
so
it.
glad you brought that up, Lisa. Do you mean youtube.com/GAW TV show?
I'm sorry, what did you say? What was the site? What was it? What was the link? What was the
I
link?
believe it was www.youtube.com/GAW TV show. Like, subscribe, and click that bell icon to enable notifications. Womp womp.
Oh man. Oh man.
We're slick, huh, Nate? We just discreetly put that in there for you.
Did you say like, is that what you just said? Like,
so discreetly. No, but so I will ask this one question as far as, with your experience with GAW TV, obviously there's something there that obviously allows you women to still enjoy hanging out with each other, and obviously you have not gotten sick and tired of each other. I mean, obviously in this conversation, I have not felt like any kind of deal where it was just like, oh gosh, gotta work with this girl again, gotta work with this. It's like, no, always love hanging out, everything like that. So now we're at like episode 60 by the time this episode has been released. So I will ask this question. Out of these 60 episodes, who's been your favorite guest to be on there, and who's somebody that you would like to have on an episode of GAW TV? So we'll start with Mickie.
me?
Yeah, you.
Oh God.
Put you on the spot.
I would say, you know what? I would say one of my I think it's cool to have our girlfriends on all the time, but getting to know some of these drag queens, because that was not a world that I was familiar with at all. Like, I know Val is the Drag Race super fan, so I had really not had a lot of these conversations with like these queens before, where I go like, whoa, and I've fallen in love with Ginger Minge and James Mansfield, and I just find them so inspiring. charming and funny and quirky. And so yeah, they might be some of my favorite episodes or favorite like experiences that really just kind of opened me up to new friendships that I just never anticipated, that I never knew because it was a world that just wasn't around.
Very nice, very nice. Lisa, what about you?
When is this airing?
It should be airing on Saturday. I'll edit this out. No, I'm not going to.
My favorite guest was this past Wednesday with Mel and Teresa. They are paranormal active. They do ghost hunting and psychic. They have psychic abilities and stuff like that. And people, I think they have to know that. I'm obsessed with Discovery Plus and Philo because I watch every paranormal activity, any like the reality and all that kind of stuff. I am super freaking into it, and so I'm so intrigued. It's so fascinating to me, and I had a second reading from them, from Mel, and it's incredible. She has just the gift of like really knowing stuff that you never even talked about, and bringing people from your past. It's just, you guys can tell, like when you watch Wednesdays, that episode, you're going to tell how much I'm kind of marking out, I'm marking out, not kind of, I'm marking out. Yeah, totally.
The gift of Mel.
Like a guest I would like to have on the show is one that I'm working on, but I'm not allowed to say.
Fair enough.
Yes.
The
girls are going, Lisa, you haven't talked about this to me because I haven't heard back yet. I haven't heard back. So
I'm trying. The exclusive hot gossip, the hashtag hot goss
stuff already.
It'll be something for Mickie James' birthday.
Oh,
for my birthday?
Yeah. I'm trying to work on stuff. I'm working on stuff.
Basically, she's talking to Baby D's agent, but they can't agree on a price. That's what's going on.
He's expensive.
He's so expensive.
Okay, what about yours? What's yours? Well, we already know Mel's favorites.
I have to agree with both of you ladies. Honestly, like I love Mel's episodes. I love the kind of psychic paranormal genre that we cover. But of course, what's near and dear to my heart is, it's funny because obviously we're from wrestling. We love having our wrestling friends on, but we love branching out. So obviously to me, like Mickie hit the nail on the head there, I am a huge Drag Race fan. I was honored, beyond stunned that the ladies got Ginger Minj for me, one of my favorite drag queens. And having drag queens on the show, I just think really opens people up to a whole new genre. I think it promotes acceptance and tolerance. I'm going to cry. I always do that.
I knew it.
I'm sorry.
You cut the onions.
There's onions being cut. And I'm so thrilled that, wrestling can be a very cult-like, close-knit community, which in a way is good. In another way, you're kind of in your own bubble. And to get some people to branch out and go, okay, so what is drag and what is the LGBTQ plus community? And for our show to sort of open people's eyes to that has been like, that to me is really, really rewarding. And, I always make a joke to people, like all people that go, oh yeah, what do you do? And I'm a nurse, or I work in, I'm a police officer. And I go, well, I'm not really helping people. I'm just a presenter for wrestling.
You are. You're being positive. You're changing lives.
Well, that's what I think, in some ways this is kind of like, I feel like I'm at least doing some good by having some of these people, enlighten certain minds that might be a little more narrow or a little more, sheltered from that. So I think that's been great to have drag queens on for sure. Ginger Minj is still my favorite episode of all time. As far as a future guest, oh my God. I mean, I don't want to shoot too far, but I mean, who I'd love to have is AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She's somebody who is in politics and is the ultimate definition of a grown-ass woman. I'm not saying we can get our VP, Miss Kamala Harris, or Dr. Jill Biden. But women like that to me are just really making dramatic, needed change in the world. Because, GAW TV is a lot of things. It's a slumber party. It's cocktails. It's fun. It's giggles. But we really try to bring the female empowerment to the forefront, and these women like that are just really, really doing the work. And I know that's a serious topic, but I would love to have people like that could, again, just broaden people's minds, open up some hearts, and that's what I think GAW TV is really about. I'm a sap. I know. I'll see myself out.
No, I love that so much.
I do too. I do too.
I didn't even answer like my dream guest kind of thing.
Yeah, who is it?
Who?
It's me. I have tape on my face.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my god.
Can't with you.
Why?
Mickie, go ahead. You were talking.
Sorry, Nate instantly just said, why? But why do you have tape on your face? She's doing her
Only just to make you guys laugh.
These are the things that we deal with on a daily basis, Nate.
Yeah, we're sorry.
I believe it, but also I'm jealous.
Oh my gosh.
But
Well, this was fun. This was a fun interview.
But Mickie, did you reveal your actual future guest wishes?
Oh yeah, your future.
No, I didn't. I didn't answer that part, and I apologize. But just listening, like, no, I'm with you, Val. I think, we've had some incredible guests on, and we always love to go back to our wrestling roots and have that. But I personally would love to have some of those conversations with like an Oprah, with a J-Lo, or a Reba McEntire, or a Dolly, or someone like that in different genres, whatever genre, Cardi B, any of those people, to have these conversations with, especially, for some of these women that I've named off, the legends especially, their journey was so different than a lot of the stars that we're seeing come through today. So I think this is something that we obviously talk about in the wrestling world, but I think it transcends through culture as women have been more open to use their voice, not find their voice, but actually use their voice and it being accepted and okay. Like their journey to their successes and their failures and their life lessons of how they got there, like those are, like, I feel like just for myself, I'm so into that stuff of like listening to those powerful conversations, because you want to put yourself in conversations with people that you aspire to be like, and that's kind of so when I think of dream guesting and dream of like where this show I would hope for it to go, that's where that's what I would love that. But
No, totally. Well said. Yeah.
I hope they like wine is all or vodka.
Well, that's kind of the dream, isn't it? Like, honestly, like, not to like sit here and like promote alcohol, but cheers. To have these sort of women, like these powerhouses, like Mickie mentioned, like just to get them in sort of like a, when you want to meet your heroes, you want to meet them in a setting where it's like, wow, I got to like sit at a bar and talk to them, and they were like unfiltered and just chilling out and just talking and telling their story, not in a hello, welcome to the interview kind of a way, but more like a girl, you wouldn't even know what I've been through. I've been through all these hurdles and things like that, and I think I will toot our own horn, toot. I think we should be proud that when we have guests, we sort of make them feel like Mickie said this the other day, actually, about being in a safe space. We're very proud to say that people seem to feel very safe with us and sharing their story, because they know that we have their best interests at heart, and we're going to always put their best story forward, and we're going to always protect them and make their message heard. And that's why we want to interview them. We don't want to interview them about, hey, how was your match in '97? Sorry, that's been done before. We want to have the stories that people haven't heard, and we want to get to know the real person. And not that we're Oprah, but if she ever would like to come to the show, we're open. Call Nate. He'll help you. He'll work it out.
I think it's also fascinating that where we've come from, I think everybody has a stereotype what a person in the wrestling industry is, and we're all so different, and we're very normal, not normal, crazy, but normal. But we're going through everything like everyone else. You know what I mean? And I think they think that we're like, oh, they don't have problems like we do. You know what I mean? So, but we discuss a lot of those problems. You know what I mean? So it is. You're right. Like Mickie said and Val said, it's a safe place, and we're easy to talk to, and this is a place to change people's lives.
That's right. And we're darn cute. We're not harsh to look at. I'll give you that.
It's the cuteness that matters in the end.
There you go. There's a hashtag too, Nate.
There you go.
Just the cute ones.
Cuteness for the win.
Cuteness for the win. There we go. Cuteness for the win. Well, unfortunately, ladies, it's that time right now where, unfortunately, we're going to have to wrap it up.
Oh, that sounds like Val. Unfortunately, you guys, we have come to this time to wrap it up.
Yeah, I'm always the person that has to be the timekeeper, and I'm like, I feel like such an absolute biatch to be like, hey, great story.
You're the heel. You're the heel.
It's a horrible position to be in. But again, I always told you ladies, like Nate's such a pro that he's so good at, formatting the show and making it this fabulous, hopefully entertaining chat that it's been. But Nate, we want to say, before you wrap it up, we just want to say thank you for not only having us, but being so, respectful and so professional and so encouraging about women's wrestling and championing women in wrestling and just being an absolute doll. So thank you so much.
You're amazing. Hey, Nate.
Nate, are you drinking the bubbly? Nate the Great.
Bubbly.
Nate the Freak.
Nate the Freak. Yes.
Nate the freaking great.
Yay.
Whatever.
Whatever you want. Just put me over.
Always
Listen
put
to
you.
the credit if you don't mind.
Yeah. Well, thank you. That was amazing. That was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun. I love talking about dating. You guys tell? I go off on tangents. I have a lot of experience with it. It's so funny. It's just awful. How
Well, you know what, ladies? We had, hopefully we'll be on Nate's podcast again because we had a Valentine's Day special, didn't we, Nate? And we talked about all these funny stories. It was so much fun.
Yeah, there was even like
stories,
this.
yeah.
There was like this also random article that I found of like somebody saying why it's rough to date a woman in wrestling, and I'm just like, what? No. If anything, most of these are like more of a turn on for me. I don't care what anybody says. One of them was like,
well, you also like crazy chicks, Nate. We have that.
That's fair.
We've been recording, so we know that you said that. You should never live that down.
No, it's difficult to date us. A wrestler? Are you kidding me? No. It's not ever home. Self-promoting,
oh, she found it.
We're natural hustlers, dude. We're independent contractors that promote ourselves. And it's a different change of pace to date, right?
Yeah,
Mickie?
totally.
I'll be honest, I'm very difficult to date. I'm gonna be first one to say I'm difficult, very difficult.
Yeah.
I wouldn't date me. Is it? That's like our final words on this lovely podcast is us going, I wouldn't date myself. It's terrible.
Oh god, that's amazing. So before we go into final thoughts as well as final comments, I definitely do want to give you ladies the chance to plug anything that you have coming up, as well as anything that you have coming up as far as GAW TV. So, Val, would you please take it away? Where can people find you? And do you have anything crazy that's coming up?
I will for sure. I will say that, I want to mention GAW TV because obviously if you know GAW TV, you know where to find all of us individually. But GAW TV can be found on youtube.com/GAW TV show. You can just Google GAW TV, GAW TV, which stands for Grown Ass Women TV for those taking score at home. We have a Patreon. You can support us, join our weekly live Zoom after parties. After every episode, you're on camera with us and in the chat room, and you can see us answering your questions live on patreon.com/GAW TV. We also have the hashtag GAWcast, the unfiltered version of our show, which, you get about 30 minutes on YouTube. The entire, usually an hour-long episode of the show is on the podcast form, and it's available to all of our Patreons at patreon.com/GAW TV. And, we're all over social media. Please follow us. We're very interactive with our fans, very interactive on Patreon, and we love to engage with our fans and meet everybody and make sure, we've actually forged some really long-lasting friendships with a lot of our top-tier guys that have been with us from the beginning. We just celebrated our anniversary, I think it was the 20th of May. We're on episode 60 now of GAW TV, and it's been a wonderful journey. I know that Mickie definitely needs to promote some stuff of her own with Legacy and Empower, but as far as GAW TV goes, that's where you can find us, and I hope that you'll subscribe to our channel. Get into the show. We're there every single Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on the YouTube chat, watching the show with you as it premieres, and it's so much fun.
And that's what Val plugged in is what I'm plugging in is our GAW TV. This is our future, and you're going to see bigger and better things out of us.
Yeah.
Mickie.
And we all do have our own personal websites and stuff that kind of keep you up to date with us, and you can follow all of our social medias there. And obviously, as we roll out everything going into Empower, we're going to be revealing a lot on GAW TV, so I really hope that you are following so you can be be up in the know of what's happening as we go moving forward. But yeah, I mean, I have my legacy subs with my husband. It's been amazing. Got some cool stuff going. We just announced the Her Legacy line, the ladies line. And then, yeah, I think there's just so much going on, but obviously we're here, the trio, if you will, always promoting GAW TV. I mean, we've got the GAW cast, and we have some really cool moves happening with our show that I think is going to really help even elevate us even further. We have so much fun with it, so it's cool to be able to have these conversations with our friends, and it's cool to talk about women's wrestling and be able to do and just be who we are and do what we want to do. So I love that. Oh, and also download my new song, Grown Ass Woman, the official theme music of Empower.
Ooh.
Woohoo!
Ooh
la la.
Yes.
And our GAW TV show, right? We're going to have that as the intro.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, well, it's already the intro, actually.
And honestly, we have to say, I want to toot Mickey's for a second, because we are so effing excited for Empower. You know, when you go to Mickey's Twitter, you can see all of the correct hashtags and correct links to go see what's going to develop with Empower. It's so exciting. You know, like I said earlier, we are all about empowering women. And, you know, we love our male fans. We love, you know, all genders and all that. But we are so thrilled that Mickey is pioneering this Empower movement. And we are so excited to see what happens. So you better hold tight, because this is going to be an amazing time for Mickey, for GAW TV. We've got so many wonderful things happen. Hashtag blessed. I hate that hashtag, but I'm going to use it right now.
You do. I'm shocked you said that, Val. You always say, I hate when people do that, and I go, I just posted something. I'm very blessed.
Blessed, never stressed, blessed and highly favored. Go ahead. I'm going to use it right now.
Yeah.
We deserve it. We deserve it.
So funny.
I'm going to end this with hardcore country.
Nate's singing it too.
Hey, I said that when I was between GAW TV episodes, I was listening to Mickey's music, and definitely I've been enjoying what I've been hearing. So
I listen to it every day.
Nate, the amount of videos that Lisa sent us in a convertible, wherever the hell she's at, singing at the top of her lungs, hardcore country with such alacrity, such enthusiasm. She loves that.
I love it.
It's her jam.
I'm still obsessed with it. Yes. Never going to get old. It's never going to get old for me.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So,
Mickey.
I just have flashbacks of hopping off the hopping off the second turnbuckle to go spin around and do my little finger pose, and all I see is you just singing along.
Oh my God.
It's way too catchy. It's you cannot not move your shoulders or like sing along with that song. It's
infectious, and we didn't say that word during COVID, but it's very infectious.
Yeah.
That's the new pandemic, you know?
Yeah.
There I go.
like my herpes. They never go away. Just kidding, what?
and on that note, ladies and gentlemen.
On that note.
So before I get into plugging my own stuff here, I definitely do want to thank the three lovely ladies of GAW TV, and thank each one of them personally, starting with you, Mickey. I mentioned the fact that I've gotten the chance to watch your career grow from, you know, being the quote-unquote crazy chick to you being the pioneer of women's wrestling, and definitely doing a fantabulous job of just creating a legacy that I have definitely been admiring, respecting. I do believe that, you know, the way that you've been mistreated is definitely one of the worst things they could do for somebody who has given so much to that. So I will say this, that on behalf of so many fans, we definitely do support the fact that you are just staying strong, staying absolutely positive throughout every single deal you've been through. Your music is absolutely amazing. I absolutely loved it. I love the GAW theme song as well. And I definitely do want to say thank you so much for everything that you have done for the business, and continue to just be completely, as people would say, completely blessed. To you, to your family, definitely wishing you guys nothing but the best.
Oh, thank you, Nate. That's very sweet. Thank you. Oh.
On to Lisa, who I've definitely been admiring ever since the first day that I saw her, whether she was doing the I ain't the lady to mess with, doing the little shimmy, shimmy, sham, or just being the absolute...
Did you just say shimmy, shimmy, sham?
Yes,
Ooh.
Don't judge me. You called me Samantha.
Shimmy, shimmy, sham. Shimmy, shimmy, sham.
I mean, I don't know what else to really call it except for that. But Lisa, you've definitely been somebody who I've admired for such a long time. And like I said before, I'm looking forward to meeting Lisa, the person at any convention, whether it was Victoria or Tara. We have so much to catch up on, whether it's talking about, comic books, the Mutant Ninja Turtles, whatever it might be. And honestly, I will tell you this. I want to go on record to say that I want to do a great, picture with you, but also do one of the craziest pictures with you. Whatever you have in mind, I'm all for it.
Okay. All right, you're going to regret this.
I feel like I regret a lot of things, but this is not one of them. So trust me. I've already told you one of the things I regret in life. So doing something crazy for you is not one of them. So.
Okay. Great. And now Val.
Of course, and Val. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's enough time for the day. I'm kidding.
Wow, brother, heel turn from Nate the FNGreat. Nate the Freak takes a heel turn.
No, sir. But in all seriousness, Val, we've known each other and worked with each other for about 6 years, and you've definitely been the first person to introduce me into the other side of being, a wrestler, as well as knowing that not everybody is what they seem to be. Whether they can be, completely bitchy or just a bit of an asshole. That is not always the case. It's just a character that's on TV. You definitely have been one of the friends that I have appreciated so much. And I love the fact that, you, Lisa, and Mickie are doing this amazing show and just opening a lot of eyes. And you, as well as Alan, are absolutely just vastly entertaining. So I just want to say thank you. And here's to another 4 more years. Like I said, 10-year anniversary. We're doing something, mate. We're doing something crazy.
Oh my gosh. First of all, I don't even know what to say. You're going to make me cry. Thank you so much. You know what I have to say? I always say, girls, when I talk to Nate, I always go, you're an absolute star. I don't throw that kind of stuff around. I mean that, Nate. You have an absolute, the gift of gab. You're so talented. You're so professional. You're such a gentleman. We appreciate you so much. And all you do for the love of wrestling and just for being an absolute sweet soul. So thank you for having us. Thank you for always being such a fun chat, whether it's just you and I or we have these fabulous guests now. We are so proud of you. We are here to support you, and we want to say cheers to you because you are doing a great job, and we are such fans of yours. So thank you so much.
It is my absolute honor and privilege.
Cheers!
Another cheers! As we see Tapeless Face Lisa.
No.
Yeah.
What's going on with my eyebrows? Oh, yeah. They're up there. They're up here.
You're a doll, Nate. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Nate.
It's always such a pleasure.
It is always an honor and a privilege to talk to 3 of my favorite ladies now. So, unfortunately, that means Rosemary, Allie, you got competition. So, ladies,
Look out, ladies. Look out, ladies.
I love both of them too.
Yeah.
So with that being said, you can check me out on basically any kind of social media that has a real effing game on it, whether it's Instagram or on the Twitter, which I want to also do this little fun fact, is that I think that Val likes a lot of my tweets and Lisa likes a lot of my Instagram posts, which is really funny the more that I think about it. So thank you guys again for your support when it comes to that. But also, do want to make this big announcement in regards to the wrestling show. Matt actually mentioned this before. For the longest time, we've actually been doing a lot of recordings, but now officially, we're actually going to have our first live show on September 12th. It's going to be in Rockford, Illinois, and it's going to be an absolutely crazy, wonderful night. Definitely looking forward to seeing many fans that are going to be a part of that, so definitely check out the wrestling show to see the build-up all the way to YouTube Mania 4, as well as see what's in store for Nate the FNGreat. So for Mickie James, Hardcore Country, for Lisa, I'm now going to have to do #Tapeless Wonder at this point, because that's as well as that
Tapeless Wonder.
Hashtag
Tapeless Wonder, as well as that fashionista, SoCal Val, All three of them are on GAW TV. Definitely check out the YouTube channel as well as the podcast. It's absolutely wonderful. You are not going to regret that one bit. I have been Nate the Effing Great. This has been the Game Changer Podcast, reminding you that you can make a difference one day at a time by being a game changer. Thank you guys so much. Have a good one. Stay safe. Be smart out there. And be respectful always.
Hey, cheers, everybody.
Cheers, everybody.
One more drink of bubbly for the road.
Yes, please. Hey, Nate, congratulations.